This week brings the energy. It's all about focusing and initiating things. So if you have some projects you want to get started on or need to focus on, this is your week. Welcome back to the Hella Fluid Collective podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, and I love all things astrology and small business. This week, we are talking about the astrology for March 3rd through March 9th. There's not too much going on in the sky, just 3 transits, and they're pretty supportive. But first, make sure you like, subscribe, so this video can get out to more people and I can produce even more content for you guys. If you want to get a forecast for the entire month ahead, make sure you sign up for my email newsletter, where you will get an email at the beginning of every month, and it will have this YouTube video, and it will have a YouTube video, a link to a podcast version, and my all-time favorite, the blog. So if you want to listen to the YouTube, watch the YouTube, then come back and skim through the blog so that you have an easy reference point, this is fabulous. Also on the blog, I have a little section at the bottom called Supportive, Spicy, and Dynamic Days, where you can find all of the transits happening for that month and figure out what days you can kind of plan around if you are scheduling an event or an important meeting where you don't want Uranus, the planet of disruption, coming in and ruining your plans. So lots of good resources. Just make sure you sign up for my email, and I only send 1 or 2 out a month, I promise. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the astrology for this week. The first day we have an exact transit is on Monday, March 3rd, and that's Mercury moving into the sign of Aries. Mercury has been in the sign of Pisces, which it does not like to be in. It is weakened in this sign, so if you've been feeling a little lost in your thoughts or a little loopy-doop in your conversations, that's all right. You're just feeling the energy of the planets, but that will be gone with this transit. With Mercury moving into Aries, we get a bit faster paced thoughts. We get more direct conversations. We can assert ourselves in conversations a bit more. Now, obviously, this can go quite a few ways. If you need to make sure your statement is clearly understood, then this is wonderful energy. But if you're somebody who already naturally takes up a lot of space in the conversation, well, this may encourage you to do that even more and might annoy some people. But also, don't be surprised when other people who tend to stay more quiet in conversations speak up a little bit more. This is also energy that brings more decisive thinking. Aries is kind of the do it now, think about it later sign. So this, again, can be taken quite a few ways. That can be really helpful if we are someone who tends to overthink things instead of just starting and finding out. So we may be more decisive with the things that we want to go for, but at the same time, it's also somewhat impulsive. So just watch for decisions that if they have a lot of weight and you don't want to be anywhere near impulsive about it, then really go the extra mile to make sure you're not being impulsive about it. Aries is also known as the sign that thinks about the individual a bit more, kind of like that me first energy, which again can go quite a few ways. If you're somebody who tends to prioritizes other people's needs ahead of yours, then this is going to be a really supportive energy for you to think about your needs and prioritize them before everybody else's. We can, it's not necessarily a hierarchy all the time. It's nice to have a good balance of other people's needs, your needs. But like they always say in the oxygen mask on the airplane, you have to put yours on first before you help anybody else because you don't want to deplete yourself. Then you're helping no one. And on the flip side, if there is somebody who naturally is more self-centered, this could exacerbate that energy quite some bit. Mercury will be in Aries until March 29th, but please note that this month we do have a Mercury retrograde. It stations retrograde around the 14th or so. So just make sure this and next week you are getting your paperwork in order. You are signing any contracts that you need to. We are already in the shadow, but it's still okay to move forward with those things that you really just don't want to mess up. Again, it's okay to do that during Mercury retrograde. It's just if you can plan ahead to do it outside of a Mercury retrograde, I would recommend doing that just so that there's no hiccups or mess ups. If you got to mess up, you can deal with it. I trust that you can deal with it. But we will talk more about this Mercury retrograde the week that it happens and in my month ahead forecast. So again, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. As for business owners, Mercury in Aries is a great few weeks for starting a new project, focusing on a new initiative. Aries loves that, and it puts our mind into starting new things. Mercury also rules marketing. So if you want to focus one of those things on a new marketing campaign or a new marketing strategy, the energy is there for you to do that. Moving on, the next exact transit is Wednesday, March 5th, and this is Mercury again, forming a sextile to Pluto. This is a really supportive transit between our mind, our communication styles, the way we process things, our logic, and our subconscious, big transformations, going deep, and power dynamics. This is a really good transit for uncovering those subconscious patterns that actually have a lot of implication on the way that we're thinking on a day-to-day basis. So our thought patterns are more at the front of our mind, but why we have those thought patterns, maybe from an experience or multiple experiences in the past, that's going to be more in the subconscious. So this is a this is a this is a supportive energy for connecting the two and really going deep to figure out why these things exist in your brain. This is also a supportive energy for figuring out how you give your thoughts maybe more power than we need to be. Is there a way we can have a bit more control over our thoughts, especially when they're thoughts that aren't necessarily serving us in the present moment? For example, future tripping or dwelling on the past. This is something that I do a lot. I freak out about a certain situation, but when I really think about it, I don't know what that situation is going to be like. I'm making a lot of assumptions about what that situation is going to be like, and it's sending me into anxiety spirals. And then I start to lose control over how I'm going to feel in that situation and also how I feel in this present moment before the situation has even happened. So I'm really practicing catching those thoughts and not letting myself fall into them and not giving my power away to these assumptions and instead staying present and being a bit more open to how the situation might go. Last thing, this is a good transit for really deep and meaningful conversations. All of these things are going to happen more organically. So if you want to take advantage with a sextile, these things could happen organically, but generally we need to put in the effort in order to gain the benefits of this transit. With squares and oppositions and more harsh transits, they force us through presenting a situation that's really uncomfortable to tap in and make the changes. But with sextiles and trines, everything feels really good. So we don't really feel forced to do anything about it. So if you really want to utilize this energy, then you're here, you're listening to this, you know this energy is coming. So really tap into diving deep into your subconscious and your thought patterns or having a deep conversation with somebody. As for business owners, this gives you a huge mental boost. So if you need to focus deeply on something, on a project, on and around this day is wonderful energy to do so. And this goes especially for more complex tasks and projects, things that really take a lot of your mental power. Last week we had a Mercury Saturn, I think conjunction or connection, I forgot. But that is more about focusing on tasks that are kind of more mundane, things that you don't really want to do, but you know you need to do, and they're a bit more boring. This energy is for more complex tasks, things that really have you focusing about a lot of concepts at once and pulling them together in this more intense way. Maybe you're developing a new course, or maybe you're doing website development. I don't know. Whatever is more intense and complex to you, it's going to be different for everybody. This is just a supportive energy to guide you through it. The last exact transit of the week is on March 7th, and that is the Sun forming a trine to Mars. This is another transit that is going to give us a boost of energy. Both the Sun and Mars represent our energy in different ways. They both represent willpower in different ways. So both of these things are coming together and working and having a harmonious conversation. It's going to give us a big boost of physical energy and just sense of purpose as well. This is also going to show some alignment between our identity and who we identify as and the actions that we're taking. So back when the sun formed a square to Mars, we probably had some tension or some situations that came up that asked us to question, are the things that I'm doing align with who I want to show up as? Align with my sense of purpose. And so now will be a time when that will probably come to fruition, that will probably show and feel good that they are aligning. And if not, then something or someone may come in really organically, really kindly as like a nice guide to help us get a little closer to that. It's not a square, so it's not going to be a smack you in the face with a situation that's uncomfortable. It's going to be more helpful. This will also increase your motivation and give you some clarity. Yes. As for business owners, this is just another fabulous energy to continue working on new initiatives. Mars is the ruler of Aries, so it's kind of on the same line as Mercury in Aries. It's continuing that. And the sun is giving it supercharged energy. So let's continue working on our new projects. Let's check things off on our to-do list. Let's just get it done. And on top of that, this is the first transit we have with Mars now that it's gone direct. We have felt this energy 2 times in the past few months because Mars has been retrograde. We felt it once on its way in. We felt it again as it turned backwards and retraced its steps. Now we're going to feel it that last and third time as it goes forward. So this is a reoccurring theme. This is the last connection of it and it's moving forward. We may just close that cycle in terms of connecting our actions with our sense of purpose and identity. All right, y'all, that's it. That's it for this week. I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you're able to tap into the energies and get some things done if you have some things to do. If you don't feel these energies, that's okay. These are probably hitting your chart in a very different way, and that's all right. That's why you can book a personal reading with me. You can get a quarter ahead, a year ahead. You can get a quarter ahead or a year ahead predictive reading so you can kind of see what's going on for you in the next quarter or year so that you can be ahead of the game. Have a beautiful week. Until next time, stay hella fluid, y'all.